With deep love, let us remember God and Masters and offer our prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I bow to one formless God who is omnipresent, omniscient. I bow to all the saints and sages of all times and places. Humbly, I bow to lineage of Kriya Yoga masters. Perceiving divinity in each one of you, I bow to you all. Good morning and welcome to our weekly discourse. Today, we are going to discuss about the interesting topic. You are what you think. And if you see on the screen, it is very clear by the diagram, you are what you think. However, we are going to talk about it a little bit more. We all are sitting here in this room or wherever you are listening to me. In the room, probably you are more than one person. Let me ask the question, what is common among us? Now, if you think about it, you might say there are a couple of things which are common. First thing, that we all are human beings. And I'm sure nobody has doubt about it. Even let me see in this room, there are a couple of people. Yeah, all are human beings, I'm sure. Second thing, that we all have same sense organs of action and perception. We have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 nose, mouth, 2 hands, 2 feet. Is anybody having 4 hands? I don't think so. So we have same sense organs of action and perception. Third common thing among us, we all are breathing same air. It's not that I have imported air from Japan and I am breathing that air. We all are breathing same air, which is in the atmosphere or in the cosmos. Then what is the difference? Despite all these commonalities, we all are different. So answer is, the difference is our mind. Each one of us has a different mindset because of our previous samskaras from many past lives, our own behavior, our own likes and dislikes. We have different mind, and that is why we cannot think in the same way. So the thing which is differentiating us among humans is our own mind. Now, if we think about this mind, our mind is conditioned. Do you agree? And remember, this conditioning begins from our birth. As soon as the child is born, this conditioning starts. When a child is born, he comes with hardware only. Now let me compare this body with hardware and mind with the software. So when the baby comes into this world, he comes with hardware only. The mind is there. Now after that, the software is uploaded. And it's not one software, just like you buy a new laptop, then you have to upload the software, many applications, many programs we have to upload. So also happens with our mind. So all the informations are uploaded on this software of mind to make us what we think we are. How this conditioning begins? When the child is born, he is taught by the parents that she is your mom and only he is your father. You are Christian, you are Hindu, you're American, you're Indian, you're male or female. So all these different informations are fed on this software to make us what we think today we are. Now, the software is uploaded. How many types of softwares do we have? So a couple of them I can discuss with you because I teach travel from place to place. So I have seen many different types of softwares. So some of the softwares are very common among us. First one, people say, oh, people don't understand me. This is one kind of software. They always complain, people don't understand me. Second is, some people complain, parents have not done anything for me. This is also, I have heard many times. Third software, I didn't get a good teacher. There's another one, I'm troubled since birth. And some say, I'm not so fortunate because I'm not born in India. That's why I'm not so spiritual. However, if we discuss about this kind of software, you may find around you. So first kind of software is people think or say, what to do, Swamiji? People don't understand me. I'm so nice. I'm trying to do my best, but people don't understand me. Some people always complain that people do not understand them. So just think, are you a Pythagoras theorem in our mathematics, which is difficult to understand? If people don't understand you, why don't you understand others? If they don't understand you, it's fine. You try to understand what they want to say, what they want to convey. However, some softwares, people have not done, parents have not done anything for me. And many times young people, they complain. They expect a lot from the parents, but they say, oh, they didn't do anything for me. Some people blame even parents that they have done nothing. Just think, don't you think that the parents have given you birth and not let you die? Today, you are here because of your parents. They have given you opportunity and you are in this spiritual path. Are you not grateful to them for this? They have done the big thing for you, that they brought you in this world and have given this beautiful opportunity. Another software, I didn't get a good teacher. I heard this sometimes. As some people complain they did not get a good teacher. But everybody has learned from the same teacher. Even if when I was in my school or college, the same teacher was teaching and the students were different. So everybody has learned from the same teacher, then why you could not? Do you need a teacher from the moon or Mars? Well, the fourth software I have seen, people complain, oh, Swamiji, what to tell? I have been troubled since my birth. You know, in the family, one who is not elder thinks that everything is wrong with them since birth. Elder son has many photo albums, but the others do not have so many. It's common because when the first child comes, people pay more attention. When child is born, the happiest person is the father because he gets the certificate that he has become a father. First child improves designation of everyone in the family. And it is a grand celebration because one becomes father, one becomes grandfather, aunt, maternal uncle, and so on. Everybody gets some designation or promotion. But in case of second child, Designation remains the same. You're already uncle. So there is not much love. Even teacher beat me, they punish me. And some say that the teacher is always after me. Some say a person I like to marry did not like me. And the one whom I am married, I don't like. Isn't it so? Intelligent children are born in other family, and in our family, stupid are born. Some think like that. So these are the people blaming others since birth. That since their birth, they are getting troubled and everybody is after them, not liking them. So this is another software. Sometimes I hear from people that, Swamiji, I'm not born in India. That's why I could not get spiritual environment. And otherwise I could have progressed a lot. However, these are all complaining things, a different software. And all these are software because of the conditioning from the birth. Now, let's think that in this room where we are talking, is there any sound wave? Are there radio frequency or electromagnetic waves present in this room or not? Answer is yes, because we are using many more gadgets. So there are electromagnetic waves, there is radiation. So there is also sound wave. Nowadays, if you see in the mobile itself, you get all the applications. In the mobile, even if you tune at a certain frequency, say 90.5 FM, so immediately you connect, you connect to some radio station and a beautiful song is played. Suppose you are playing a particular song. So you have to tune in your mobile and you can catch these waves which are already in the atmosphere around us, the electric waves or sound waves. So as soon as you set your frequency at 90.5 FM and your favorite song is played. So which is in the room here now. Now, if this sad song, suppose this song is sad song, you don't like it. What do? You just change the frequency and another song is played. So now you are not attracting sad song waves. So if you understand this example, just by changing the frequency, you can change the song which you like. So what is the message? Set your frequency as per your goal. What you want to achieve in your life, according to that, set your frequency. It is not the people, it is not the environment which is responsible. It is our own software, our own mind. So let us set our frequency as per our goal. Remember, power of thought has no tax on thinking. Thinking good. If you think good, nobody is asking for tax. And if you think negative, nobody is going to punish you. So it is completely in your hand how to think, what to think. At the same time, negative thinking is very natural. You'll say how? Simple. Negative thinking is natural because concentrating on negative thoughts and emotion is one of the main reasons of people having psychological problems. By concentrating on a thought, one begins to identify with it. Thus, if one nurtures negative thoughts, one ultimately inflicts damage upon one's own self. So if we are continuously entertaining negative thoughts in our mind, we are damaging ourselves, not others. So after remaining in this miserable state for an extended period of time, People feel powerless to extricate themselves from it. Very difficult to get rid of it. Consequently, such a state becomes mentally debilitating. This is why psychiatrists often prescribe some medication or a means of changing one's thinking pattern. No doubt, one's thought is a key to restoring mental stability. Negative thinking is very natural. Suppose there is blast outside. What will you think? The immediate thought comes, maybe there is some bomb blasting or some gunshot. You don't think that it may be some firecracker. In the Bhagavad Gita, there's a beautiful verse which explains this concept. It is in 6th chapter, 5th verse. Uddharedatmanatmanam natmanamavasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhu atmaiva ripuratmanah. Uddharet atmanam na atmanam avasadayet atmaiva hi atmanah bandhu atmaiva ripuhu atmanah. Means you are your own friend and your own foe. A man must elevate himself by his own mind, not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. So you are your own friend and you are your own enemy. So you should be careful with mind. There is a natural law in the universe, and this law says it is law of attraction. What does it say? As you think, so you become. If you think about becoming a doctor, medical doctor, you'll put effort in that direction and you will become a doctor. If you think about becoming an attorney, you will eventually become an attorney. So as you think, if you think you become good, then you will really become good. If you think you are bad, all the time that I am so bad, so you will become bad. Reason is, if you see, when we lock something, so there is a key in the lock, and the key which locks also opens the locks. The same key which is locking is used for opening the lock. What does it mean? The mind is binding us, and the same mind, like key, can open it up, can make us free. So this is called law of attraction. Another thing to remember, as you generate thoughts, you are attracting similar quality of people, situation, and events in your life. It is quite natural. The moment you start thinking good, you will feel that good people, better situation, better events are happening in your life. If you think about bad, you will find you will attract this bad quality of people around you. The situation will really become worse, and events also will not be pleasant for you. So everything depends on your own mind. That's why it is said, at whatever frequency you communicate with God, he says, let it be. Just think about God. In this universe, in this world, how many languages do we have? Maybe 1,000 languages. But God doesn't need any interpreter. In whichever language we communicate or pray to God, he listens, he understands, and God responds. So at whatever frequency we communicate with God, God always says tathastu. It's a Sanskrit word. Tatha astu means let it be. Suppose you say that life is just dragging, God says, let it be. If you say, and then life is always dragging. If you say, I am poor, God says, let it be. So you will remain poor. If you say everything is wrong with you since birth, God will say tathastu. So in future also, the same problems will take place. So God will respond at the same frequency, whatever you set. This is very important. So it is called power of thought. I'll tell you a beautiful story about it. Long ago, there was a king. His name was Akbar, who ruled in India in the 16th century. He was a tolerant Muslim king who loved Hindus and Muslims alike. King Akbar had a very intelligent Hindu minister. His name was Birbal. Birbal was very intelligent, clever, and he was also advisor and confidant of this king. One beautiful spring day, the king and the minister set out for a walk. They both decided to disguise themselves so the king could enjoy some privacy. As they were walking, Akbar said to Birbal, I have often wondered how much people really love me. Birbal replied, my king, what you would discover would only be a reflection of how much you really love them. Akbar wanted to verify this. He was curious whether his thought actually had an impact on others or not. They soon came upon an old man carrying a heavy load on his back. Looking at him, Akbar thought, this old man is working very hard and making very little money. He should be given more money to live comfortably in his old age. Then he said to the old man, have you heard the news? King Akbar is dead. The old man became very sad. Slowly he put down his load and began to cry. Oh God, why did you take him away? He was such a good king, always doing what was best for his subjects. Akbar quickly consoled him by saying that the story was just a false rumor and that the king indeed was alive. Then he moved on. After they had walked a little further, they came upon a man who was adorned with jewels and wearing very expensive clothing. Immediately Akbar, in the disguise, thought, obviously this man needs to be taxed more. No one deserves that kind of wealth. Now, approaching the man, he called out, hey, did you hear King Akbar is dead? The man just laughed and said, good news. He was always taxing people to the point of poverty while making sure he had plenty of money for himself. That day, Akbar walked back to the palace in silence, after witnessing firsthand the power of thought. What is the message of this story? In the first case, Akbar's compassion for the old man was reflected in the old man's good feeling about the king. And in the second instance, his dislike of rich men was reflected a hostile response for him. We see our own thoughts reflected in others. Thoughts can overpower us. Our thoughts can also affect others even when they are not physically present. Remember it? Person may be distant, but thinking about person something bad also affects a person, yourself as well as the other person, because thoughts are energy. You are projecting this energy, negative energy, it will be having its effect. There's no doubt about it. So when we know this power of thought, what should we do? We should always aim for high. Aim for high means think good, think high. I'll give you example. Those who are from India, they must have observed that in many trucks which are carrying load, just you see in this diagram, very often you'll find some quotes written behind the trucks. Like in this one, this is also very common. It is written, Buri nazar wale tera muh kala. It is in Hindi. What is the meaning? May the person's face turn black who cast his evil eye on me. Now, this kind of slogans, this kind of quotes, you will find only behind the truck or sometime auto rickshaw. But you will not find such quotes behind an expensive car, because they don't care. So as you think, so it is reflected in your behavior also. So the truck or auto rickshaw drivers, they cannot think high. So they think at that level. So that's why this kind of slogans you'll find only on the trucks, not in the expensive cars. And who will cast an evil eye? A car is more expensive or a truck is expensive? So people will be jealous of car or truck, but still it is the level of thinking. Another example, those who are shooters, you'll observe them when they are practicing, they always aim little high above the target, maybe 1 inch. Do you know why? Because when they are shooting arrow or even shooting the bullet, due to gravity, it goes little down. So if they have to hit the target, they keep the aim little high so that it will hit after traveling some distance. But this is a beautiful example for us to follow, that if we want to achieve something in life, we have to keep our target little high. If you ask God that, okay, just provide me a little bit, so you'll be provided, no doubt. But ask for something, that God, give me strength so that I can achieve something and I can be helped to many people. God can give you everything, but you don't ask for more. He'll say, asking God is not bad. There's nothing wrong. Asking for strength, asking for love, asking for realization, there's nothing wrong. Asking for just $5,000 is like you're approaching a businessman and you're asking just a little money. God can give you everything. God can give you ocean, and you are going asking with a spoon that, can you fill up my spoon, please? When I was in my college days, my spiritual mentor said, keep your target high. Even if you don't achieve your target, you surely would progress from the place where you are right now. You already will progress. So keep the target high, and the highest target in our life is self-realization. Whether we achieve or not, that's a different thing depending on our efforts, but we will surely make a lot of progress. But if we don't keep that high target, high goal, how can we even move on? In our software, there is another wrong entry fed. What is that wrong entry? That money is bad. A lot of people say money is bad. Money is never bad. Money is just a means, and we all need it. How do we use it? It depends again on our own thoughts, behaviors, our way, our attitude. My spiritual mentor taught me, when I started my job, he taught me to earn money as much as I could. But he told, earn money, but don't keep it with you. Instead, give it to those who are deprived. Help those students who cannot get education because of financial problems. Help those who cannot afford food or home. So earn for them, because God has given you capacity to earn. Everybody doesn't get it. So use your potential, use your energy to help others. Money is not bad. And when I was in my marketing training, I learned that life, people, and customer will not give more than what you ask. If you ask little, you'll be given. If you ask more, it will be provided. Yes, you have to make efforts, but if you don't aim high, you cannot go to a great height. Once I was traveling with my friends. So in the flight, when there is some beverage service, nowadays we don't get anything because of COVID. But usually this beverage service, so the flight attendant comes and they provide you whatever you ask for, maybe a cup of Pepsi or Coke, Diet Coke, or coffee, tea, whatever you like. So they come and serve, and after that, it is finished, if it is a short flight. Now, my friend, and when we had a cup of coffee, and after that, I asked my friend, maybe 45 minutes later, would you like to have a cup of tea more? He said, yes, I would, but we'll not get it because they serve only once. I said, no, if you ask, you can get it. He said, no. It is their custom that they come and serve only once. So I said, okay, I put the bell, and flight attendant came and asked politely, how can I help you? I said, can I have a cup of coffee, please? And very happily, she brought it. You might have this experience also. If you need, you ask, you'll get it. So it is an example that we don't ask from our own life. We don't ask from God. We don't ask that we need this to achieve something. And then we just limit ourselves and we don't get it. And why do we limit ourselves? Very often, we assume things. We don't verify. Just like I gave the example of this flight attendant, they are very happy to serve you because it is their duty. If you ask, they will provide you another cup of coffee without hesitation. They will never say no. We assume that it will not be given. That's why we don't ask, isn't it? So don't assume. In the Toyota company, it's a very famous company. Toyota company, they have a slogan, their motto. What is they write and they believe? Do not assume, but verify. In our life, we assume a lot of things, and that's why we don't take courage to ask. We just assume. But when we verify, we know the truth, and then our life is much better. Otherwise, we suffer because of our own wrong assumptions. So I learned this: don't assume, but verify. If you have a problem with a person, don't assume that it might have happened. Verify that, is it so? There should be clarification. Another thing, we don't ask from our life, or we don't want to set the goals because we are afraid of failures. That what will happen if I don't achieve? What will happen if I fail? Just like Arjuna, he got confused and he asked Lord in the battlefield, what if I win this battle, or if I don't win the battle, what will happen? That is none of your business. You set the goal, put your effort, and let the result come in its own way. So another thing to remember, if you're afraid of failure, you need to remind yourself that after your school and college, there is no failure, because in the school or college, we fail. We don't pass the examination, so we fail, and we have to repeat the same class or grade. So after school and college, there is no failure, but there is feedback. If we don't achieve something, then it is just a feedback and experience. It's not a failure. So never think that you are failed or you will be failed. That's why you don't want to put your effort. So never assume, but always verify. However, I remember another beautiful incident about this assumption in life. John was CNN photographer. And one day he was told that a twin engine plane would be waiting at the airport. So he, arriving at the airport, he spotted a plane warming up outside the hangar. He jumped in and said, "Let's go." The pilot happily took off. Once in the air, John told the pilot, "Fly low over the valley so that I can take pictures of the fire on the hill." And pilot said, "Why?" John said, "I'm the photographer from CNN. I need to get some close-up shots." The pilot was strangely silent for a moment, then asked, "So what you are telling me is you are not my flying instructor." Life is short, never assume, always ask. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. However, we'll come to concluding part or the solution part of this talk. Who is responsible? If my software is not working right, if my thinking pattern is not right, who is responsible? I am responsible. If you read Adhyatma Ramayana, in the chapter of, in the book of Ayodhya Kanda, 6th chapter, 6th verse, Lord Rama is telling this, "Sukhasya dukhasya nakopi data paro dadati iti kubuddhi esha aham karomi iti vrathabhimana swakarma sutraihi grathito hi lokah." No one gives happiness or makes you unhappy. Others cause you pain or pleasure. It is only your misconception. It is baseless ego that I am the doer and we get the result as per our own action, our karma. So it is useless to blame others for our failures. It's such a beautiful teaching from Lord Rama that we are responsible for our action. We are responsible for our own thinking pattern. Why it happens? Because we want to change everything. When we don't get the result as we desire, we want to change. And we don't take responsibility, but we want to shift our responsibility onto others. I could not achieve something because of this person. I could not become doctor because of my parents. I could not get admission into a good college or university because of financial problems. So we just want to shift our responsibility. We want to change everything except ourselves. We want that everybody should be changed according to my thinking. So what we need to do, we need to take 100% responsibility for ourselves. No one is responsible. If I'm suffering, I'm responsible. If I'm happy, I'm responsible. If there is trouble, I'm responsible because I must have done something wrong in my previous life. So there must be something. However, in any case, I am responsible. And beautiful teaching is that when we think how our thoughts should be, that's why this is the teaching. What is our destiny? Very often we blame our own destiny. What is real destiny? It is said, watch your thoughts. Watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. So what we are today, it is all because of our own thought patterns. If we can change our thoughts, we can change our life. If we can change the way of thinking, our own attitude, our life will be a quality life, and we can achieve whatever we want. There's nothing impossible. All the conditionings, situations, people around us, they are just medium. Changing our own thought, we can make a great change and big difference in our own life. So we make our own destiny. Nobody is responsible for that. Now let's come to the concluding part. What should we do? I would suggest that those who are practicing Kriya, they know how to meditate, how long to meditate. But those who are not into Kriya, for them some suggestions. We begin our discussion with the hardware and software, that we come into this world with the hardware, and then on the software, different informations are loaded and various applications are fed, so installed in our software of mind. Now, we have this software, no matter how it is. It may be one of those softwares which we discussed, complaining, blaming, no matter, but we can upgrade this software. So how to upgrade this software? There are three things you have to do every day in your life. First thing, do physical exercise for 20 minutes minimum. It is must to keep you healthy, because if you're not healthy, you'll not have healthy mind. Your physical health is directly correlated with your mental health. If you're not physically healthy, your mentally will be not healthy, you'll be weak. So every day physical exercise, at least those who cannot move their body, at least they can walk, brisk walking for at least 20 minutes. The body needs some movement. Otherwise, our sedentary lifestyle in the modern time has created many more problems, starting from diabetes. We can count on many more. So first thing, every day physical exercise for 20 minutes. This is to take care of our body. Then read good books for 20 minutes, because you want to entertain good thoughts, positive thoughts, constructive thoughts. How will you get it? When you read scriptures, when you read some good motivational, inspiring books. So 20 minutes reading, it's a good habit. It will give you more better thoughts, positive thoughts. I follow it. And then meditate for 20 minutes. Meditate for 20 minutes. Those who know Kriya, they can meditate with Kriya technique. Those who do not, we are always, every Sunday, we guide general meditation for 15 to 20 minutes. You can follow that, which we are going to do after this talk. If you see these three things, which are very simple, only 1 hour from your 24 hours is needed to keep you healthy and to upgrade your software. Forget what software you have developed or you got. Now you can change, you can upgrade it. Doing physical exercises, it is called tapaha. Reading good books, it is swadhyaya. Meditating, Ishwar Pranidhana. And this is the definition of Kriya Yoga in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, chapter 1, chapter 2, first verse. Tapaha swadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. So even if you are following these three things, in a way you are following Kriya practice. So there is every possibility, every breath is a new opportunity that we can change our lives. And this is what Guruji is constantly reminding us, change your life. Making excuse of not finding time is just like saying that you don't have time to refuel the car, then it will break down surely. If gas is finished, it will stop on the way. Then don't complain that there is no gas station here. As if God knows where gas will exhaust and he would install a gas station there for you. No, you have to be responsible for that. So let's upgrade our software. Forget what happened in the past. What we got does not matter. What we can make, it matters. And we can make our life a better life because you are what you think. So think great, think good, positive. You will be like that. We'll now meditate. Please sit straight in whichever place you are sitting. Keep your head, body, and the spine in a straight line. Concentrate in between the eyebrows. We call it soul center. Third eye. Feel completely relaxed. Observe your breath. Gross or physical breath, moving from the nostrils to the lungs. Just watch. Now, gently pay attention to the subtle breath from top of the head to bottom of the spine, up and down. Every breath conscious of divinity. Your thoughts are more settled. You're a little more calm. To pacify the mind, let us practice some deep breaths. Pranayama. Through deep, long, and slow breathing, regulating the pranic energy as per your capacity. Practice. When you inhale, feel love within and feel that all the positive thoughts are entering your mind. Positive energy you are absorbing. When you exhale, feel the peace around you within and feel that all the negativities, thoughts, and emotions emotions are going away from you. From bottom to top, please inhale love, exhale peace, 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 inhale peace, exhale love, inhale peace, exhale love, inhale peace, exhale love, inhale love, exhale peace. Normal conscious breath. The body is completely still. Breath is slow and feeble. Mind is peaceful. Inside the cranium, fix your attention in the inner formless space. Meditate in silence. No more thoughts, just peace. state of bliss, calmness. Body is relaxed, mind is energized, rejuvenated. Again, concentrate in the soul center in between the eyebrows. Feel peace within. When we meditate, we generate positive energy. Feel the peace around you. Let this peace manifest in the entire cosmos. Praying to God and the masters. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all become happy and healthy, loving, noble and compassionate. May there be no suffering or sorrow. May there be more love, peace, harmony among us and in this entire creation. Om. Amen. Thank you all. Meditate every day. Be happy. Take care of your health. Think positive. Remember God in every breath. See you next time. Jai Guru.